So I belong to this networking group. It's kind of like a networking group on steroids. They meet 5 times a year in Henderson. There's usually a couple hundred people, sometimes 300 or 400 people at this event. And everyone's there to meet and to shake hands and that kind of thing. And what this networking group does to kind of separate themselves from the crowd is they have all these training sessions with coaches and thought leaders and things like that throughout the course of the week. And last July I was at this. And I wanted to go listen to this one guy who was talking about branding. I sat through his course, I sat at his table for a lunch, and I thought to myself, this guy knows absolutely nothing about marketing. And it's a trap that a lot of people fall into when they're getting into the business world for the first time, or they're like, what do I do to increase my sales? What do I do to get more business through the doors? And they hear someone talk about branding and they're like, man, that's what I need. I need to have a brand identity. And brand identity is important. There's no doubt about that. The bone that I'm going to pick here with this guy is one of the things that he said that he touted as gospel truth. And I'm going to tell you why I believe he said this. He is a designer, not a marketer. Now, almost all designers, they call themselves marketers because design is used in marketing. But the reality is this guy was not a marketer. He's not an advertiser. He was a designer. He could make a really cool looking business card or a really cool looking book cover. And he was showing book covers left and right because there were several authors at this event. And I'll be perfectly blunt, man, his book covers looked way better than what the people came to him with, meaning they'd already self-published their book or had a book cover done up, and he put one together and said, wow, look at this. Man, it looks better. The problem was that his book covers looked like, well, everyone else's book covers. And that's a huge problem. And it's a mistake that a lot of people make. No one wants to kind of go outside of the comfort zone. Everyone wants to look like everyone else because they figure it's safe over here. If that's what these guys over here are doing and I do the same thing, then I'm not going to stand out as the oddball. I'm not going to look weird, and I'm going to make mine look so professional and so good and so cool. But one of the things that this guy said, and this is when I realized that this guy was just off his rocker, that he did not know what he was talking about when it came to marketing. He said something like 80% of either the Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 companies use 5 fonts. That's it. In all of their marketing, it's one of 5 fonts. And he goes, why are you using all these other fonts? Is it because your computer came with 1,000 fonts? You feel like you need to use all these other fonts? He goes, just do what the big boys do. Just use one of the 5 big fonts. That right there is a huge, huge, monumental mistake. What he's basically saying, if you want to look like everyone else and fade to the background as just background white noise, go ahead and look like everyone else. Don't stand out. Don't be unique. That's the worst advice you could ever give someone. You absolutely want to stand out. You absolutely want to look at what everyone else is doing and do the exact opposite, because you'll stand out. But see, there's this comfort, this safety that we get, this feeling of satisfaction when we're part of the crowd, when we're not leading the crowd. And the problem is, you will never get to where it is you want to go if you're part of a clump, if you're just part of a group and there's nothing unique about you and you don't stand out. My advice, stand out, be unique. As Bill Glazer would say, be outrageous, because that's what gets people to take notice. I'm Pete Mitchell with Big Guns Marketing, where we do competition crushing strategies for companies that aren't afraid to dominate. I'll talk to you later.